Your parents taught you to save money, and that lesson is quietly going to bankrupt you. Not because they lied, because the rules they gave you were written for a world that no longer exists, and nobody bothered to update them. You inherited a survival manual for 1985, and you are trying to run your life on it in a year where rent eats half your paycheck and a savings account pays you less than the rate things get more expensive. Here is the part nobody will tell you. The way your parents handled money was not wisdom. It was a set of instructions formed by their own fear, their own childhood, and the specific decade they grew up in. Psychologists call these money scripts. They are the unspoken beliefs about money you absorbed before you were old enough to argue with them. You did not choose them. You caught them, the way you caught your mother's accent or your father's way of standing in a doorway. They live below the level of thought. You do not feel like you are following a rule. You feel like you are just being a sensible person, the way water feels like it is just flowing downhill. And the cruel joke is this: the exact habits that kept your parents safe are the habits that will leave you broke at 60. Let me show you what you inherited. The first script is the savings account. Your parents believed money belongs in the bank. You watched them do it. Every month, a slice of the paycheck went into a passbook account, and that account felt like a fortress. They were not wrong for their time. Back then, a savings account paid real interest. Money sitting in the bank actually grew faster than prices went up. Saving cash was a winning move. Your parents could put £1,000 in the bank, do absolutely nothing, and watch it quietly become more. The bank was a friend that paid you for trusting it, but you are not living in their time. Today, the average savings account pays you almost nothing while prices climb 3 or 4% a year. Do the math on that, and it stops being safe. Money in a low-interest account does not sit still. It shrinks. Every year, that pile buys you a little less bread, a little less petrol, a little less of everything. Picture it like a bucket with a hairline crack. You keep pouring water in. The level looks fine, and the whole time it is leaking onto the floor where you cannot see it. You think you are protecting your money. You are watching it bleed out slowly in a place you were told was a hospital. This is the loss that hides in plain sight. Nobody sends you a statement that says you lost 4% of your buying power this year. The number in the account even goes up a little. The bank shows you a balance that grew by a few pounds, and your brain reads that as winning. So your brain files it under safe and moves on. But over 30 years, money kept in cash can lose more than half its real value. Think about that. You could put in money for 3 decades, never miss a month, never touch it, and arrive at the end holding something worth half of what you put away. You did everything you were told. You saved, and you still ended up poorer. The second script is the fear of investing. Your parents called the stock market gambling. Maybe they watched someone lose a fortune. Maybe a relative got burned in a crash, and the whole family swore off it forever. And that story got told at every dinner until it became law. So they taught you that real people keep their money where they can see it, and only reckless people put it in the market. The word itself sounds dangerous in their mouths. The market. Said the way you would say, the cliff edge. That belief feels like caution. It is actually the most expensive habit you own. Because over any long stretch of time, money invested in a broad basket of companies has grown, decade after decade, through wars and crashes and panics. Every crash you have ever heard of, the market eventually climbed past it and kept going. The person who put money in and left it alone got richer. The person who kept it in cash because the market felt dangerous fell behind and never caught up. 2 people, same income, same discipline. One feared the market and one used it. 30 years later, one of them retires and one of them keeps working, and the only difference was a belief they each absorbed before they could vote. Here is the recognition moment. You are not avoiding risk by staying in cash. You are choosing a different risk, a slower one, the guaranteed risk that your money quietly loses to rising prices every single year. You traded a scary risk you could see for a boring risk you cannot. And the boring one is the one that gets you. The market risk is loud. It crashes. It makes headlines. It scares you on the news. The cash risk is silent. It never makes the news. It just stands behind you the whole time, taking a little off the top, and you call it safety. The third script is the most respectable one of all. Work hard, keep your head down, and your loyalty will be rewarded. Your parents believed in the job. One employer, 30 years, a pension at the end, a watch, a handshake. That world was real for them. Companies kept people. Pensions existed. Staying loyal paid off, and the person who job hopped looked unstable, like someone who could not be trusted to stick. That deal is dead, and nobody held a funeral. Today, the fastest way to a raise is to leave and get hired somewhere else. The numbers are not subtle. The person who stays in one seat often gets a small bump each year, a couple of %, just enough to feel thanked. The person who moves can jump 10 or 20% in a single step. Stay long enough and you watch a new hire walk in the door, sit in the chair next to you, do the same work you do, and earn more than you because the company priced them at today's market and priced you at the day you joined. Your parents told you switching jobs looks bad, that it makes you seem flighty. You absorbed that. So you sit in the same seat, grateful, saying thank you for a raise that does not even keep up with prices, while your earning power slowly falls behind people half as good as you who simply asked. Notice what these three scripts have in common. Every one of them was true. Every one of them worked. And every one of them is now a trap, because the world quietly changed and the rules did not change with it. That is the thing about inherited beliefs. They do not come with an expiry date stamped on them. A carton of milk tells you when it has gone off. A money script never does. It just keeps running in the background, making your decisions for you long after the conditions that made it smart have disappeared. You are running software written for a machine that no longer exists, and wondering why nothing works the way the manual promised. Now, let me name the deeper one, the script underneath all the others. The belief that money is dangerous, and the goal is to not lose it. If your parents grew up with less, they passed you a nervous system, not a strategy. They taught you to flinch, to hoard the little you have, to treat every spending decision like a threat and every windfall like something that will be taken away. This is the scarcity script, and it is the most powerful one because you cannot see it. It does not feel like a belief. It feels like reality. It feels like just being careful. A fish does not know it is wet. You do not know you are scared, because the fear has been the water you swim in since before you had words for it. Watch how it shows up. You get a raise, and your first feeling is not joy, it is dread, because now there is more to lose. You get a bonus, and you cannot spend a penny of it without a knot in your stomach. So it sits there, doing nothing, guarding you against a disaster that never comes. You see a good investment opportunity, and your gut says no before your brain even reads the details. You keep an emergency fund 3 times bigger than you need because the number going down even slightly makes you feel sick. You check the balance not to plan, but to be soothed, the way some people check a locked door 5 times before bed. You call all of this responsible. It is not responsible. It is fear wearing a suit. And here is the cost, the one that should make you sit up. Fear is comfortable. It feels like control. So people stay scared their whole lives and call it being sensible, and they arrive at 60 with a pile of cash that lost half its value, no investments that grew, and a career that never paid what it should, and they cannot understand what went wrong. They were never lazy. They never wasted money. They did the hard part, the saving, the going without, the saying no to themselves for 40 years. They followed every rule. That is exactly the problem. They followed rules built for a world that ended decades ago, and the discipline that should have made them rich just made them carefully, thoroughly poor. Let me give you the peak of this. Your parents optimized for survival. You need to optimize for growth. Those are not the same game, and the strategy that wins one loses the other. Survival says protect what you have. Growth says risk a little of what you have so it becomes more. A person playing survival in a growth economy is like someone bringing an umbrella to a sword fight. Careful, prepared, and completely beaten by the actual situation. The umbrella is not stupid. It would have saved them in the rain. There is just no rain. There are swords, and they keep opening the umbrella and wondering why they keep getting cut. The most dangerous money advice you will ever get does not come from a scammer. It comes from someone who loves you, who is trying to protect you, who is handing you a map to a country that no longer exists. The scammer you can spot. The loving voice you cannot, because it is wrapped in care and memory and the weight of being the person who raised you. Your parents are not the villains here. They did their best with what they knew. But love does not make advice correct, and you are allowed to keep the love and update the map. So here is the off-ramp. This is where you stop inheriting and start choosing. First, write down the money rules you live by without thinking. The actual sentences in your head. Money does not grow on trees. Never touch your savings. Investing is for rich people. Debt is shameful. Spending on yourself is selfish. Now, next to each one, write the name of the person you first heard it from. You will be surprised how few of those beliefs are actually yours. Most of them are voices you recorded as a child and never played back to question. You have been obeying people who were guessing. Second, ask one question of each rule. Was this true for them, and is it true for me now? Saving everything in cash was true for your parents and false for you. Loyalty to one employer was true for them and false for you. You are not betraying anyone by noticing the world changed. You are doing the thing they actually wanted, which is for you to be okay. They did not love the savings account. They loved you. The account was just the tool they had. Third, separate the feeling from the math. Your fear of the market is a feeling, and it is a real one, and it deserves respect. But it is not data. The feeling that cash is safe is just a feeling too, and it is lying to you with a calm voice. Let the feeling sit in the passenger seat. Do not let it drive. Run the actual numbers on what cash loses to rising prices and what invested money has done over 30 years, and let the math make the call instead of the ghost in your stomach. Fourth, take one small action that your inherited script would forbid. Open an investment account and put in an amount so small it cannot hurt you. Ask for the raise. Move some of the dead cash into something that grows. The point is not the size. The point is that you prove to your own nervous system that the old fear was lying and the world did not end. Nothing exploded. You did the forbidden thing and the sky stayed up. That single act starts rewriting the script, and the next forbidden thing gets easier. Because the truth is, you are not stuck with the money brain you were handed. You can keep what your parents got right: the discipline, the work ethic, the refusal to waste money on garbage you do not need. And you can throw out what they got wrong: the fear, the cash hoarding, the terror of the market, the loyalty that pays nothing. The people who end up broke at 60 are not the reckless ones. They are the careful ones who never questioned where their carefulness came from. They saved exactly like their parents and could not understand why it stopped working. Do not be that person. The rules that kept your family alive are not the rules that will make you free. Take their love, update their map, and spend the next 30 years playing the game that actually exists, not the one that ended before you were born.